from the county, ain't talking about jail. Money get counted, like I'm paying the bill. Straight out of Harris County. Ain't talking about Houston. I'm in Georgia with dogs and tigers. I'm from the county, ain't talking about jail. Money get counted, like I'm paying the bill. Straight out of Harris County. Ain't talking about Houston. I'm in Georgia with dogs and tigers.
Hey, welcome into the Kudzu Sports Show. I'm your host, Rick Beach. This week we're brought to you by Whistling Pig up in Pine Mountain. Go see the Elliott family, Marianne, and them. Awesome service, awesome food. It's my Friday stop. Every Friday I try to go by there, get me a Q-tater, buffalo chicken fingers, barbecue sandwich. They always got something good up at the Whistling Pig. Big supporters of Kudzu Sports ever since it started. They also help out with some Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. You see them on multiple broadcasts. Great people, great business. Love Whistling Pig and appreciate everything they do for me and also for Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. I know Thrift's super appreciative as well. This week, hey, had an off week with football. Softball really didn't have nothing during the week. Cheerleading got a big win yesterday in their first competition of the year. And volleyball's got a little rhythm going, getting ready for some postseason play, hopefully coming up, and seem to be hitting their stride at the right time. But, you know, one thing I wanted to touch on with football was last week we had D-Rock on the coaches show. Obviously, defensive coordinator, we touched on some players, a lot of players actually, which is awesome. That's the whole point of what we're trying to get the shows on doing with the coaches show is starting the first kind of show with the head coaches, introduce them a little bit, get to know their programs, and then we can start introducing some of these players. I know we probably mentioned 10 players possibly, different kids' names. That's awesome. That's what I love doing. We also got to mention some of these other coaches, the support staff. Of course, Coach Tommy Watson being the head man. Then you got D-Rock, the head man on the defensive side. And we mentioned Wingard and Holbrook. And I was thinking, you know, we need to represent all these coaches a little bit. And I wanted to talk to some of these offensive coaches that don't get the, you know, the pub talking to them about them as much as probably needed. I know a lot that goes on with this offensive line and Coach Watson, you know, having this physical brand of football and how good this offensive line. But I want to kind of touch on the coaches on this offensive side of the ball. And, you know, with that first year offensive coordinator, he's coaching tight ends. Thomas Cox come in. I think keeping the continuity that he has and him and Coach Watson working together on their philosophies are similar. We saw a lot of that last season with the offense coordinator. This year, it's the philosophies got to match. Coach Cox has had, you know, he's a real bright in mind with the offensive side of the ball, but he loves to run the ball. We've seen him coaching the tight ends this year, and tight ends have gotten in. We see multiple tight ends, 2, even 3 tight end sets for Harris County, and their extension of the offensive line is so important to what Harris County does. And I think Coach Cox has done a great job with these tight ends, preaching it to them. I'll talk Will Drew. He deserves all kind of credit for his ability to go from H-back. He played offensive line last week, but he's just the ultimate guy. But Tim Hudson, Treviso, they got these guys at tight end that are very physical, and they're coached up the right way. Coach Cox has done a great job transitioning these guys into being extensions of the offensive line. And we've seen with Huddy, Tim Hudson's got a couple passes called a tight end screen, a little throwback screen last week against Doherty County, or 2 weeks ago against Doherty County, had a long catch against Troop. They got him down in the goal line. So it's great to see these guys, but Coach Cox with that tight end group and offense call. And then Joe Jones, Coach Jones coming in. He's done a great job with this offensive line. And I use that word continuity because it was such a strength coming in. And you wondered, having a new offensive line coach, how this group would handle it. Being a veteran group, they've handled it well. They've had 4 years, you know, Denver, Milton, Braxton, Roland, Spears. You know, they've had a different offensive line coach each year. But one thing that I love about Coach Jones coming in is the energy that he brings. He's fun. He's energetic. The kids relate well with that. They play for him well. You see him on the sideline. He's a fun guy, but he's also business. I mean, he knows, and most offensive line coaches are all business. Coach Jones has a little bit of a fun side to him. He's a high energy type coach, and it's fun to see these kids relate to that and how they play for Coach Jones and how his philosophy and his being a younger coach to some of these other guys that they had in the past on the offensive line, it's related well to them. You see this offensive line's played really good this season, and I think they've taken a little bit of that energy that Coach Jones has brought in and kept it going, and just keep that energy, keeps them energized, keeps them having fun when they also know they got to do the dirty work, and they don't get the credit that the skill positions would normally get. Harris County, we're giving a lot of credit to the offensive line because we get it. The football world nowadays is all about spread and all that crap. We ain't about that up here in the county. We play Tommy Watson ball and that smash mouth. Coach Jones has preached that, and he's having a fun way to do it. The players are relating well. And then when you have a good offensive line, you got to have good running backs. You look at the running back coach, Coach Friedley. Sean Friedley's come in. This is year 3 with him. He was here Coach Watson's first year. Coach Friedley and another coach I'll talk about in a minute. I will tell him and Coach Nesbitt. We'll get to Nesbitt in a minute, but both of them told me year 1 with Coach Watson, this dude is for real. Believe in what this guy's preaching. We'll go to war for this guy. We'll go to battle for this guy. Harris County won 2 games that year. And I remember we was at McIntosh, the last regular season game, and I was on the field talking to Coach Freely before the game, and he said, we're about to take off. This team, this coach is for real. Just all we got to do is buy in. If we buy in, the sky's the limit. We didn't get it that season, but last year you saw what happened. Coach Freely, these running backs, they love him. These running backs always speak high of him. They love his teaching. Way he goes about teaching is awesome. It's fun for them. He's hard on them in a sense. He grades them hard. He grades them tough. But we love Coach Freely. I think Coach Freely's he's a younger coach and up and coming. He worked at Marion County a little bit before coming over to Harris County. He's a Harris County guy. We love having them alum in here. It means a whole lot to him, man. Anytime you talk to him, you hear passion in his voice, and that's passion is what the players hear, and they know it means a lot to him. He wants the players to succeed. He talks all the time on how bad it hurt him. We had Kingston went down with a little bit of an injury, and it hurt Coach Freely, and you just see that love that he has for these guys is it's fun to see. It's year 3, but the love he has for these guys 3 years in, he's getting to know them so well. And Coach Freely's done a great job with them running backs. And I've mentioned Nesbitt. Coach Nesbitt's coaching wide receivers. He's kind of a jack of all trades. His 3rd year up here in Harris County. Great guy. I tell you one thing. You want to talk some fishing? Coach Nesbitt loves some fishing. But on the football field, he's all business. When you have the offense that Harris County runs, a physical, a brute offense, a brutality offense, you have to have non-selfish wide receivers that aren't afraid to get dirty, get their hands in there, and create running lanes on the outside. They know they're not going to get the ball thrown to them a whole bunch, but they stick their nose in there and block. Harris County is blessed with a talented wide receiver. Zy Gates, Rico Brown, and of course, Rand Ogletree. But you see these guys, and Josh Stewart, you see these guys that get in there now, they're blocking. They're sticking their nose in there, and they might only get a couple passes a game, but they know that's not their primary job on this offense. They're not going to go catch 6, 7 balls a game. So Coach Nesbitt's really worked with them. He also helps on special teams, a lot of the kickoff stuff. The improvement that Harris County made from the Troup County game to the Carver game was key in the victory they had over Carver. You do not win the Carver game making the same mistakes you made against Troup. That's coaching. That's getting people and putting them in the right positions, coaching the kicker. Logan's philosophy was different. He kicked it a little bit different. It was awesome. That's coaching. Coach Nesbitt has his hands in that cookie jar. He's all about special teams. And to see them grow like that, shout out Coach Nesbitt. And something new, we loved Cooper Corey when he was a player. Best quarterback Harris County's had in a while, probably could be ever. I mean, he was awesome. He ran the ball well, threw the ball phenomenal, super smart. I say that. He's coaching the quarterbacks. Trotter will tell you firsthand, Cooper is phenomenal. Coach Corey is through the roof smart. He knows the system. He sits up in the box. He told me he's never been in a box before the season, but he's fell in love with it. And talking to him, how he's working with Trotter, it's his first year. So he has to learn these things. Trotter's first year with him first year coaching at all, but he knows the game well. He's played it at collegiate level. He was phenomenal all-region quarterback when he was at Harris County. He played when we had Coach Holt, who threw the ball a whole lot. So it was a whole lot of reads and stuff. So his what he's used to in the playbook is a whole lot different than what he's getting now. But he's done a great job with Trotter this year. And coming up, we got some younger guys coming up, and he's going to help. The longer we can keep Cooper Corey working with these young guys, it's going to make the Harris County so much better because we know Harris County is going to run the ball. As long as we have Coach Watson, we're going to run the ball. And then we saw last year the biggest change from year one to year two was Levi's progress. The progress that Levi Watson made that 2-win team to an 11-win team was you put a power running game with Mateo Yeoman. You put Levi Watson's ability to spread the ball around a little bit and keep teams honest, and it just exploded. And Harris County's getting a little bit of that with Trotter. We saw against Carver. He hit some big throws against Carver that changed the game around, and it made Carver sit back because they had to think about it. Doherty County, that game was in the pouring rain. It was different circumstances. But the better that the Harris County quarterback plays, it opens up that running game. And that passing game couldn't get done without Coach Cooper Corey coming in and helping the quarterback. So I just want to make sure. I know we talk a lot about the defense. We talk a lot about the defensive coaches. And D-Rock deserves every bit of praise that he gets from me and anybody else. His defense is phenomenal. But we have to also make sure we touch on these offensive coaches. And I'll go through the defensive staff possibly next week. We might do an on coaches show this week. But I just want to make sure we touch on these offensive coaches and they get all the praise that they deserve as well. Because two of them, I told you, they've been here since the get-go with Coach Watson, and they went through that 2-win season. They went through what that does to you and how that makes you where you are now. It makes you humble. And, everything that you see cliche, coach talking, all that's true. I was down there with them on the sidelines doing media stuff, and I could see them buying in and what their buy-in meant to the kids buying in, and it's led to where we're at now with this phenomenal program that's still on the rise. But, brother, we are where Harris County's never dreamed of being, with the possibility to go 5-0 with a win at Jonesboro. Something's never done at Harris County. Playing football since 1956, you can go 5-0 for the first time. That would be incredible. It's a feasible job. Harris County is in the toughest region. This is your first region game, so it's a must-win for that factor. No, the 5-0 thing is secondary. I'm sure Coach Watson will tell you the same thing. 5-0 is nice, but 1-0 in region is exactly what they want to have. That's what that means more than anything. And I can't wait to go up to Jonesboro and watch this team come through. And it couldn't be possible without the great work from these assistant coaches as much as it is from the great work that Coach Watson does. And football having an off week, I just spent 10 minutes talking about football. And then, softball didn't have much going on last week, no varsity games. Last we saw, they lost to East Paulding last Saturday. Had this little time. They played Troop Monday at 7 o'clock up in Hamilton. Come check them out. It'll be streamed on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. But, hey, if you're in the area, come by. It's a later game, so you have time to get there. Watch this softball team. They are phenomenal. Coach Jenkins has a great team, and they're great players coming along. They're a little bit older than what they were, before. They got a little, but they're still young. They got a lot of juniors and sophomores, even a couple freshmen. You slide in there. We see Addie Seaman run the bases. Skylar Salmon plays some second base. They're both freshmen. That's incredible on a team this skilled, this, 12-1 on the season, 13-1 on the season. To have freshmen making plays and, getting in key roles is phenomenal. Miller Daniel in center field. She's a sophomore. It's just incredible, some of these guys. And, of course, Huck and Chloe are juniors. I just get carried away when I start thinking about how excited I am, not just for this year and the state championship run that they're on, because it ain't going to make – they're on the state championship run. But it looks like it could be into the future, and that's just awesome. They play Troop, but Thursday night they make a road trip. They go down 27. They head over the north side. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. Coach Jenkins going in there with his bunch. Region is on the line. You get region, it helps your seating and all that good stuff. But we all know, regardless of the outcome Thursday, we talked about it the first time Harris County played, and it was a big win for Harris County to win that game. But Harris County's beat Northside before in the regular season in region, only to lose in the playoffs. So no matter what happens next Thursday, it'd be great to beat them. It'd be great to get that momentum when you do have to play them. Because there's no doubt in my mind, if Harris County wins the state championship this year, it's going to be through Northside. The Patriots have played great. They haven't lost since the game at Harris County. I don't believe, unless it was recent, I don't think anybody in this area is going to beat them, because these are the best two softball teams any classification, in my opinion, in the state of Georgia. Harris County and Northside are phenomenal. Abby Lovell at Northside is best pitcher in the state. Hey, Huck and Wolfenbarger are great up here in Hamilton. And pitch for pitch, we saw last time Chloe went, round for round with her, and Chloe came out on top. So it's just a crazy how big this rivalry is. But what this rivalry means when it's the best two, you think back to what made North Carolina and Duke such a good rivalry in basketball was they're both good. Nobody give a crap about a rivalry if they're no good. It would, but this rivalry is such a big deal. You look at the Iron Bowl, it's better the years that it really means something for both sides. Right now, this clash course that Northside Harris County softball is on is so good because you don't know how many years this is ever going to happen again where both teams are at the top of their game. And it's going to lead to a crash course, and they're going to meet up in Columbus at South Commons, and that's where it's going to really matter. But Thursday night, come down to Northside and support this team. They packed out Hamilton. Northside people packed out Hamilton. They had red, white, and blue all down that left side, down the third baseline, and it was just it was an incredible atmosphere because of that. The home side with black and gold was wrapped all the way around the stadium, but the red, white, and blue they had, we got to return the favor. We got to go down there and pack it out and just show the support for these girls and try to push them through and get that momentum going into getting ready for the playoffs, which is only a couple weeks away. You get into October, and October's not far. You know, we sit here and you look at this and think, well, you got this whole long regular season like baseball, but when the playoffs come, it's bang, bang, bang. And for softball, when it gets here, I mean, it's must win. It's tight games. Softball's a fast paced game, so them 2 out of 3s go quick. And for Harris County, getting some momentum, you always want to have momentum in any sport and get going. Volleyball picked up some big wins. Coach Mobley started off a little slow. I think he'd be the first to tell you that. His first year as head coach, but they've really started getting around 500. Try to get into the playoffs. You get into the playoffs, anything can happen. You start winning. I think back to Harris County basketball last year in the region tournament. You don't really do good all season. Next thing you know, you pull off a couple wins in the region tournament, and you had a pretty decent year looking back at it because you did show out when it really mattered. And volleyball could do that if they find a way to get into the playoffs. They have a chance because they got a really talented team. Coach Mobley's done a great job transitioning into being head coach and now finding his identity as a head coach and taking it over. Track, cross country, sorry, doing a great job. I said track. I put the post up. Effie Ward went on a visit to UGA. A lot of people shared it and liked it, and I think that's pretty cool. That's showing a different sport that Harris County's putting kids at the next level, at an elite level. I mean, you're starting to take visits to UGA and going to these other big time schools to run track. That's phenomenal. Effie Ward and the cross country entire team has done a great job. She's the face of that program, I guess you could say, from a kid's standpoint, because she is so good and she's great at track. She's good at everything with this. She does classroom as well. Seeing some of these GPAs is just incredible. I see it with football and flag football GPAs. It's like, holy crap, these people got over a 4 or 3.8 GPA. I couldn't imagine the work it takes for that GPA and the work it takes to play at a high level 4A school is crazy. But these kids are pulling off Harris County because, like I always say, nobody does it like the county. So a lot of that going on. Flag football does start up October 8th. It's going to be youth night. All youth flag football players get in for free. Pack it out, get in there, show support. Come check them out. They play Heritage and Carrollton, big time games. Heritage coming down from Ringgold. It's their first year, so they want to see what flag football is all about. But looking at the Harris County schedule, I was telling somebody earlier they play the best 5 programs probably in this area. Harris County will travel to 4 of them on the road, and you're in that top 5 yourself. So Harris County, Coach Moss is doing iron sharpens iron. He's playing only the best at the best, not scared of nobody. That anybody, anytime, anywhere. Coach Moss is taking that to a whole nother extreme, and he said it's to prepare his girls for the playoffs. When you get to the playoffs, you've already seen the best. You've already gone to these stadiums. So hopefully, if you're Harris County, you're hosting these playoff games, and it's a whole nother ball game. You've already seen it. You've gone to Smith Station. You've gone to Central. You've gone to Pacelli, and you played at Columbus. That's the best programs around, and Harris County's going there. And it just man, Coach Moss is a Harris County alum. We said it with Coach Friedley in football. We said it with Coach D-Rock last week. It's just a different meaning for you, but these county boys are a little different, and they take it to that extreme. So that's a lot going on this week. A lot coming up in October. We got playoffs. You got flag football. You got region play for football. You got this historic season for football going. You got volleyball trying to get into the playoffs, make a little noise. Coach Steele and Coach Wright took the competition cheer girls up to Carrollton at University of West Georgia. Got the first win. It's Coach Steele's first varsity win at a competition. I know Coach Wright, she helped me tremendously when we had the Georgia Alabama Sports Live high school game day show. And it couldn't have been possible without Coach Wright, the work that she did to get them girls ready, coordinating it with me a little bit. But she did all the real work. The girls were phenomenal. The girls, nailed it. They're set. They got it done. For me that day, for Georgia Alabama Sports Live, Thrift was like blown away by how smooth the transition was. And, Coach Wright made that possible. I talked to Coach Steele yesterday. She said that, she got her first win. And when I saw the picture, I saw her and Coach Wright and just the smile they had on their face and how much it meant to them because they knew how much it meant to the girls. This cheerleading squad, it's on their second year back at it, but they're set. I mean, they said they want to try to win a state championship, and I don't see why it has to be in the future. It could be right now, and Coach still got them going good. They compete again. I believe they're off this week. Then they have a 28th. They'll be up in LaGrange. If you get a chance, come check them out. So, like I said, a lot going on with Harris County sports. I love to just be on the car, just holding on, rolling through this tracks. And, that's all we're going to have this week. But like I said, Monday, 7 o'clock, Harris County is going to host Troup County in softball. Come check it out. If not, Georgia Alabama Sports Live, 7 p.m. I'll be on the call. And then Thursday, Northside at Northside. I'll be on the call for that one as well at 5:30. But don't watch it on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. You ain't gonna hear me say that much. Come check it out in person. If you live out of state, I can handle that. Check it out on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. That's all we got this week. It's been a great show. It's been so much information to try to shove into a 30 minutes. Georgia Alabama Sports Live weekly shows coming on next. Richard Holdridge out of town, so you about to see me do the old switcheroo. I'm about to hop in studio with Thrift Behringer and talk a little high school sports from over the weekend, the football games that we had, which were incredible slate. A couple upsets, a couple games that wasn't really upsets, but shockers. So I'm about to slide in there with Thrift, and I appreciate y'all checking us out. And come back next week and hear how good Harris County did.
I'm from the county, ain't talking about jail. Money get counted, like I'm paying the bill. Straight out of Harris County, ain't talking about Houston. I'm in Georgia with dogs and tigers. I'm from the county, ain't talking about jail.
Ain't talking about jail.
Money get counted, like I'm paying the bill.